Hi guys, welcome to Unclur with Clur. I'm your host Clur. Today we are going to go over and interview an amazing artist, Andie Arel. They are a Central Connecticut based artist, more like folk, indie rock kind of music, but you're going to love them. I'm obsessed with them. So, hi Andie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, before we jump into everything, I want our listeners to know who you are. So, kind of like what got you into music? Like, what's your personal connection with it that has motivated you and inspired you to just start going out and performing and releasing music?
So I was a pre-teaching music ed undergrad, switching over to music theory about halfway through because I wanted to just keep learning before learning how to teach. Now I'm in this really awesome in-between stage of like, I got my degree, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So then I was like, I'm going to start working through my like horrible fear of performing, go to open mic. And I got really lucky with that first one, meeting some really amazing people who have been so supportive. Because I was like, oh, if it goes horribly, I just never have to go back.
Yeah.
I have met some really awesome people there who have been really, really supportive and like pushing me.
Where do you meet them, like, like locally, or is it more like, so through social media?
Most of the more influential and significant people I met, like going out to open mics, like engaging with fellow artists in the community.
Oh, wow. So you suggested me Mo's Andres. What other like people are in your group that are helping you and that you're supporting and like, you're all trying to get your names out there?
Steve Hars is another big one. He's another amazing person. Terry LaChance is very, very supportive of everyone's artistic like bringing to the table.
So would you say they're like kind of like genre-wise kind of up your alley, or like a little different?
Steve borders more on like the country, almost like acoustic soul kind of side.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, we have DJ Nice, who their podcast is focused on like country music. So I'll definitely have to like give them their name so to possibly get on. But that's awesome. So obviously you have a good friend, like a good friend group, but who's inspired you, like artist, band wise, like growing up or even into adulthood? Because like I just told you, you definitely give me the Cranberries vibes, but like who else is like, who's made you essentially is what I'm trying to ask,
That's such a scary question to answer because it's like, how can I compare myself to these people that I admire so much?
Yeah, I mean, like it's definitely the inspiration part, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I have been a long-time listener of Julian Baker, Phoebe Bridgers, and Lucy Dacus. That's when I was like really starting to get into music in like high school. When you start like, as you mentioned in our little get to know you, like when you start like branching out and like finding what you really like.
Yeah, like I make music, but like I haven't released anything because the scariness of it, but like in the beginning I've been focusing more on like hip hop just because I went to school for English and I focused on creative writing obviously, but like the poetry aspect of it all has like made me, it's very therapeutic. So then like I just write out a poem, but then I'm like, okay, wait, these couple lines would be a really good song. And I mean, I'm an Aries, so I'm a little bit on the like very fiery, a little aggressive. So like whenever I get really mad, I write it out and then rap it out. But now I'm kind of going towards back to, R&B and pop aspect because I can sing. Am I very strong? No, but practice is just going to get me there. But what genre, like as a kid, would you say that you loved,
My like very early music exposure was like early 2000s and worship music.
Worship. Oh, okay. Like what kind of artist band would you say is like very is like that genre that you grew up with, or even now?
I actually have no idea because it was like whatever would be on the radio, so like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even know what was playing. A
Yeah.
little tyke in the car seat.
Yeah. Like I remember All For You by Janet Jackson coming on in the car as a kid. And I remember like I could have sworn my parents played it all the time, but I guess it was just the radio. So because I like went a couple of years ago, I said to my mom, I was like, oh, that one song you guys played all the time. She's like, we didn't listen to Janet Jackson. I was like, you're crazy. Like I have a distinct memory of being in our like Honda Odyssey blasting it. But so to me, like your music definitely gives like escapism, like therapeutic vibes. And what would you say your strength is when it comes to songwriting? Is it more just like, I just have these thoughts, gotta get them out, or is like I need to process what just happened or what has happened in my past life?
Definitely more is like the processing part of it. Most of my songwriting starts as like journaling, and then I write something down and I'm like, oh, wait a second.
That's me too. I journal like all the time, and I'm like, wait, star that. That looks like a good line. Yeah.
Yes, and then it kind of helps like something good coming out of this because a lot of the things that I write about have been like not super stellar to experience.
Yeah.
Like, at least something good is coming out of this for me.
Yeah, and like it's like the whole circular structure part of it, especially with like journaling and then like, transitioning it to songwriting. You're definitely like if you're making an angry song, like I'm so angry, but then in the end you're like, okay, wait, it's not that bad, or like, okay, I'm not the problem, or like, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people can agree that's therapeutic, and I feel like some people it's just like I just gotta like I just had this idea or this story that didn't happen to me, but it's like then I just want to write it out and make sure that people can connect with it, because I feel like, I mean, I said this to you earlier, like I feel like a lot of artists and bands are trying to go into the mainstream, and I feel like a lot of their songs aren't believable, you know what I mean? And very kind of like you can hear it anywhere, you know what I mean? I definitely like artists like you who are like, I'm going to talk about my experience, or like, oh, I thought of this like Love Story by Taylor Swift. That was like the first song I remember hearing where I was like, this definitely isn't about her, you know? Like, so when you are performing and like people are, paying attention to you, what would you feel that like is the vibe that you give off that you see in the crowd?
So most of the times I'm performing, it is in like breweries and stuff like that. So more than half the time, there's only like 2 or 3 people paying attention. But it's really, really special when you see like the few people who are paying attention, like in the moments that they're just like captivated.
It's very validating too. Yeah, I think like for your vibe, definitely breweries are a great way to get in there, because I've been to Hops on the Hill in South Glastonbury, and there's these 2 gentlemen that one time they're like older, very Johnny Cash vibes, and it was like beginning of the summer, and it was just perfect for like transitioning to the evening, because I feel like there's sometimes I go to some places, a brewery, winery, and it's just like this isn't the vibe, and like you kind of need calming music like yours in order to like, I guess I'd say focus and not be overstimulated, especially if it's in like a enclosed area. But
yeah, like the brewery where everything's just echoing.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's like very overstimulating for me sometimes. So besides just music, have you done theater in the past? Like that's helped you get to like be on stage?
In like middle school, I did theater once or twice. I think so. I was a band kid.
Okay.
For like middle school through most of college, I played trombone.
Okay.
And then about halfway through college, I switched into voice. So like I think being in the ensemble setting helped to a certain extent. But it was absolutely a lot of effort in like therapy, like being okay with taking up the space, like allowing myself to feel like worthy of attention, listening to me share something that I made.
Yeah, I like that you say worthy, because it's not just confidence, it's like, can I do it? Like, am I worthy of it? So I like that you said that. So you said you play trombone. I know you play guitar as well. What other instruments have you, like, I guess, experienced within the past that you possibly want to bring into your music in the future?
So when I was in church, I was in the praise team, so I dabbled in playing electric bass for a few years. So I definitely like a bass and a drummer. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
to like flesh it out more.
That's fair. So you said earlier you would like to have a band with collaboration with a band. That's insanely important in communication. So when it comes to, your writing process and possibly with a band, like how do you go about writing besides just like journaling? And like when you're making the instrumentals or even as some people say the beat, what comes first, the writing or the instrumentals for you?
9 out of 10 times the writing, and then I kind of do the musical aspect to make it, and then as I develop the musical aspect, I'll like tweak wording for like emphasis that flows and stuff like that. But 9 out of 10 times the lyrics come first.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people say that too. Every now and then I have a couple, friends from high school or just people I've like met in the past who are like, oh, the beats and the instrumentals come first. I'm like, that seems impossible to me. Right? Yeah, it's a little, to me, I don't play any instruments. I am learning guitar right now, but it's just hearing that, I'm like, you're crazy for doing that. I could not. So I was listening to your song before this, In Due Time, and we're gonna get into A Lifetime in a second, but a lot of your songs are just so heartfelt and emotional in a positive way that I feel like anybody can relate to it. So in Due Time, you do say that you thought, I can't quite remember the exact line, but you thought that they were the problem, whoever you're talking about. But in the end, you say like your decisions are yours. What was the inspiration behind that one? Because I feel like that is very universal for a lot of people when it comes to either friendships, relationships of any sort.
Yeah, the inspiration for that one was, it sprouted from going through like a very difficult time of like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know where I want to go. And feeling like really isolated from like everyone around me. And I think that's a song that's like, I kind of felt my frontal lobe developing a little bit, but it's like, okay, yeah, all these bad things have happened, but I still have the responsibility to be an entire person. Like, bad experiences don't take away that responsibility you have to yourself.
Yeah, they don't define you, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I, especially like, being like, we're both in our mid-20s, it's really hard to like look back in the past and blame the other person, but not yourself. And the frontal lobe aspect, definitely, like when I hit 25, 26, I was like, oh, that was partially my fault or fully my fault. Like I can't keep blaming this person, holding on to it. Which again comes with the therapeutic aspect of songwriting. The main thing I absolutely love about your music is not only the circular plot structure, but you're like the way you use perfect and imperfect rhyming. Because I feel like I've heard artists and bands in the past where they don't use rhyming, and it just kind of confuses me sometimes because again with the flow it doesn't really go well, but with you it's just there's a lot of imagery, like I'm able to like see it. So creative writing wise, like where did that come from for you? Was it more of just like you're just gifted, or did you like learn from it as you went on?
I'm not necessarily an avid reader, but I do enjoy reading. If I enjoy the book, I will read the entire book in one sitting. So I would contribute a lot of it to reading. I've spent a lot of time reading a lot of poetry.
So with like, because when you said you like reading, well, sometimes I'm the same way, but is it more of like, oh, I see like you hear a line or you see a line or even just a word or a theme? Like, is that where you kind of get your inspiration, not just like from past experiences, but you're like, it brings up a memory and you're like, oh, I can relate to that. I can make it my own.
Yeah. I would say pretty much all of my songs, I would say, center or like evolve from my personal experiences. But there are some times when I read something and it's like, oh my god, I never thought of that.
It's like this, like it just like creates like a little fire in you and you're like, I gotta keep going, I can't let it go out. Yeah, I'm the same way. I carry a little book around with me everywhere I go because I'm like so ADHD driven that I just like have so many thoughts, and I do annoy people with how much I talk. So if I like, if I'm driving or whatever, like if I'm driving, I'll ask Siri to write a note for me. But if like I'm just out and about, I'll literally stop in the middle of the grocery store and pull to the side and just start writing something, because I doing it in my notes all the time, it gets lost, and I have so many that I need to just like have it written down. So I totally connect with you on the just like reading something and having it bring up a memory or an idea. And that's what I love about just inspiration from not just artists or authors, but just in life in general. That's what makes really good storytelling and songwriting. So your song A Lifetime, that's one we're going to go over today. In your own words, what is the theme and what's like it's a summary of the song for you? Like what was the inspiration from it?
The inspiration from it was that I had a crush on my friend, and the like meaning of the song has evolved a lot. I think it's really special to have like a friendship that survives, like, hey, I have a crush on you, and like then not only survives, but we still have like such a thriving relationship. So it started out as like having a crush on my friend, and like now every time I play it, every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is like really tender platonic love of like, I'm okay taking our time getting to know each other because I know you're going to be really significant in my life. So it's like the idea of taking friendships slowly because you value them. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like in like dating wise, it's better to be friends first rather than like jumping into it. I mean, I've done that before, and it's just like, I'm like, I didn't realize that you were this way or whatever, but that's definitely something a lot of people connect with. And I mean, when I listened to it at first, I thought it was more of like kind of like a situationship kind of thing. But hearing it from you, saying it's more of a friendship thing, I totally connect with that. Just kind of feeling like, just the friendship part. Like I will wait a lifetime, like you say, but sometimes a lifetime's too long, and you're just like, I have to accept that this possibly isn't going to happen, or it's going to take longer than it should. So I'm going to put it on the back burner. To go back to that circular plot structure that I was talking about earlier. It's just the beginning of the song shows that you're like eager to like fall in love with this person, and that you'll wait however long it will take for them to realize that you care and that you want to love and support them. And while the end you kind of just accept that it may not happen for you, but like the outcome of the song, would you say that you feel like the song is about like realizing that someone is not seeing the signs, or they're kind of like blind to what you're doing, or even just like taking advantage of what they see and they know?
Not being able to know if they're interpreting the signs, or if they're like not in a place where they can accept the signs for any number of reasons for them.
Got you. And like along with they're not reading the signs. I know at one point you ask yourself if you're a martyr or a coward. I absolutely love that you said that, because I love that, like, it's so good. Like I love when people ask themselves, or even like the character that they're portraying, to like ask themselves a question rather than asking the person. Because to me in the song, comparing yourself to a martyr is more like you're just wasting your time and energy for love, while being a coward is more of just not giving up, I'd say. You're just like, I know it's not going to happen. So for you, with your personal situation with the song, what in the end, how would you feel you were in that moment? More of a martyr or a coward?
I would say I was more of a coward in this one. So that like middle section that you're referencing, it's like, oh, I can tell you're upset about something, but I'm not gonna ask because I don't want you to like shut in on yourself anymore. So like I'm gonna like not do anything about it. Like I'm not gonna.
Like you're sweeping it underneath the rug. You're like, oh, it's fine. Like, yeah. Oh, I've been there. And like to me, I feel like in my opinion, it sounds definitely more martyr, because you're just so motivated for it to happen to the point where it's not like really like annoying or unhealthy. You're kind of just like, I will let them take their time, but I'm still gonna be here. But that's my opinion. I think you're more of a martyr, which is like in a way kind of brave and like very out there, to be confident that you'll be confident that you think they'll make a decision. So this song definitely has that like 3-act structure when it comes to like film writing, like screenwriting or playwriting, because you have the background, you have the climax, and you have the resolution. And the way you sing it out, because like you sent me the lyrics and it's like very short, but when you were performing it, it definitely makes it sound so much longer and like you just feel like you're in the moment. Would you say that the song was kind of set up that way, like like a story mountain kind of diagram?
I actually have no idea about that. This one was really tricky, me deciding what lyrics I wanted to repeat for the purposes of like catchiness and remembering it as like a musical entity, and also like what lines I want to really reinforce and like the significance of repetition.
Mm-hmm.
So after going through sorry, I'm so proud of the middle section of this one.
I would be too, dude, because like that is what truly splits it up. You know what I mean? Like it's that transition, but it's literally like, okay, we're gonna bring it together. Never mind.
The line where I say, I'll walk your walls and say goodnight, that's setting up the repetition of like, I know I'm not the person who's going to tuck you into bed tonight. I know I'm not going to be that person. So I'm going to do a lot. Make sure you're like safe to go home to yourself because I know you're upset. And then it's reinforcing like that. I wish you were ready to open up to me.
So the walking your walls, like, what's that one mean? Like, what is the representation of that?
I feel like the image I have in my head of like a night watchman, just making sure you're like safe within yourself.
Got you. Okay, yeah, because I was like, this could be a metaphor or this could be literal, but I like that. I like that comparison because it's kind of like, you know, if you're taking them back to their apartment, you're like, okay, I'll put them to bed, I'll walk around for a little bit, check again, like you just said. So, that was the one thing I was like, I really want to know what they meant by that. So your rhyming part, I love the beginning that you use the imperfect rhyme in that first line of like gaze and near, because like, I mean, you look at the words, they don't look like they're gonna rhyme well together, but it's the Z and the R in those words that like really makes it rhyme well. But then the rest of the song, it's like perfect rhymes at the end of each line. To me, I feel like that first line is kind of just showing like the crazy contrast, but then the difference between like you and this person's relationship. Because it's like it's not really imperfect, but like it could be. And just like the entire rhyming aspect of your songs is, how do I want to put, refreshing, if that makes sense. And I really like, I give you props on that, because like rhyming's so hard. Because I mean, you learn about it when you're like in elementary school, and then you read other poets and stuff like that, and you're like, how did they do that? Along with the imperfect rhyming, it just shows foreshadowing of how the song's gonna end. You know what I mean? Because the gaze could be, you know, the gaze to me is more of like the sounding of it, compared with the near is more like, oh, this is how I want it to be. And then in the end, it's like, okay, actually, it's not that, which is where the near part comes in. And with that, I feel like the very ending, it shows how much you've grown with, you know, the realization of all this. And the very last line where you say, when lifetime is too long, I believe is, you can correct me if that's the exact wording, but to me that shows that you feel complete and like you've come to conclusion that like, oh, this may never happen. Because you could, like you said, you repeat the same lines, but then as you get to the end, they're different and they sound different with what you've just told. And with stuff with like kind of writing like that, how do you usually go about that, trying to figure out how to make it repetitive but not sound repetitive, you know what I mean?
That is something that I actively try to do. So in a decent amount of my songs, I do like change a few words like in the repeated sections, either as the like story develops or as like my perception of the story develops. But I do actively try to make it not feel repetitive to listen to. Because I feel like everything I say is super repetitive.
I get what you mean, but it's also like looking at the lyrics and then hearing it, you're like, it's the same words, but you tweaked, you did a little revising with the end of it, and it just hits so much stronger with the message, I'd say, and the outcome. So gold stars all around for you on that one. This song is very much like the poetry style, hopefully I'm saying it right, but Vanel, where it's you have the first stanza and then you repeat the first and second line in the and the third and fourth line the next, and kind of like snowballs after that. And definitely that's how you did it in this song, because that middle part with you questioning yourself, that's that break in between. I just really do love your like the creative writing aspect of it. So like, do you have any, I may have just asked this, but I'm gonna ask it again because why not, like when you were in college, like how did you get inspired by the creative aspect of it all? Did you do like English classes, or was it more just like you just learned it as you went along with schooling?
I might have to chalk that one up to luck. I only wrote, as far as like a lyrical song and not for like a composition class, I only ever wrote one song in college. Everything else has been post-college. So I only really took the classes that were required, because any music undergrad knows there's like 80 million classes every single semester.
Yeah.
Time for
I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. It's funny because like I went to school for business at first, and I felt like I had no time for it. And then once I finally found my niche, which was English and creative writing, that's kind of when I was like, okay, I can handle this and do all this fun stuff. But did you concentrate on anything specific when you were in school?
So like technically, like my degree's name is Bachelor's of Music, like emphasis music theory. I think it would be inaccurate to say I apply a ton of what I learned theory-wise.
Yeah.
Right? I'm more just like, oh, this sounds good. Half the time I'm not even aware of what chords I'm playing. Which is really funny to admit, because it's like what I got my degree in, and I'm like, it sounds good. Like I don't need to know what it's named.
It's like, yeah, like improvisation, not really like you're writing out the notes. You're just like, whatever sounds good is going to come out. So,
yeah.
I love that. What do you want listeners to get out from the song? Like, what do you want them to take away? How do you want them to interpret it into their own, whatever situation they're in,
I guess I would say I want anyone listening to it to know that they're not the only person to try to get someone to open up to them, and it's not their responsibility to fix the effects of someone else's negative experiences. And it's just like to meet every person, whether it's going to be entirely platonic or if you're romantic, anything like that, just to meet them with grace of like where they are. And if you're not willing to meet them where they are, then it's probably not a good time for you guys to engage with each other.
That's a very good life lesson. I feel like a lot of your like mid to late 20s is that trying to not like, you can't control people, you can only control yourself. So like trying to rush somebody into a relationship or career or whatever it may be is just like, that's not your place. So I feel like that song could like help a lot of people. This song could help a lot of people with that realization, especially if they feel stuck, because I feel like our 20s are just like trying to figure out who we want to be friends with, or like what we want out of a romantic relationship,
I think it's really important for me to emphasize that this song is about someone that's one of my best friends. Even though like this felt like difficult during the development of our dynamic, like this is still one of my best friends.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could like write everywhere like it's okay, because that could mean so many different things. But yeah, again, that's a good thing it's what we all need to hear. It's like it's okay when it comes to like relationships. But I'm so glad I got to pick your brain with this. I probably have like skipped some questions that I've wanted to ask because they're like in my head, and then I'm like driving and forgetting to write them out. But I'm so glad I got to hear your perspective from all this. And I really do think our listeners are gonna like, when they check out your songs. I'm gonna add your song to the end of this too. I feel like they're totally gonna connect to everything. And music is about feeling emotion, not feeling like oh, this just sounds good, this is just a bop. But we have to get back into connecting with people rather than just like, I guess I'll say shooting the shit, like, again, so happy we got to talk and I got to introduce everybody to you. But thank you. I'm so happy. And everyone, you gotta go check out Andie. I'm obsessed with folk right now, and I'm obsessed with you, and so is everybody else is going to be. But thank you again, Andie. You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
I want to meet your gaze and draw you near. I want to place your hair behind your ear. seeing me as someone who cares. How much longer should I sit and lie and wait? I'd wait a lifetime, but it'd be a lifetime late. Am I a martyr or a coward when I hold my tongue and keep myself polite? I know you don't want to cry, so I'll walk your walls and say good night. But I want to meet your gaze and wipe your tears. I want to place your hair behind your ear. I'm afraid you might be scared of seeing me as someone who cares. How much longer should I sit